What's up, guys? I'm back like I never left. In this video, we're going to be talking about Tesla, HYLIION, Workhorse, Lancadian Holdings, Diamond Peak Holdings. We're going to cover all these important companies that I covered in the past. Is it a good time to buy the dip in these companies? I'm also going to go over exactly what happened in the stock market and what are the important economic reports that we need to pay attention to for tomorrow that can significantly affect the stock market, either to the upside or to the downside, guys. So make sure you stay to the end of the video. I'm going to cover all this important information coming up. Alright guys, so before we get into the video, make sure you smash the like button. If you have any questions, any comments, make sure you drop in the comment section below, guys. So there's been a lot of eyeballs on Tesla stock today. There was battery day announcement. There's going to be some few technologies that we haven't seen from Tesla introduced today. And unfortunately, the sell-off started yesterday when Elon Musk tweeted and really lowered the expectation for battery day, but stating that they're eventually going to be using the products and using the technology that they talk about in today's presentation in 2022. So that has really affected the stock price to go to the downside. As you can see, right out of the gate, we opened at negative 5.6%, down $25. After hours, when the presentation and the meeting started, Tesla started to recover significantly higher. It went to a peak of like $442, and then we started to go in detail about the technology that they have, and then the stock eventually started to go down to the downside. As you can see, after hours, we're going to be opening tomorrow eventually pre-market way below $395, and that is approximately 6.87% to the downside. So that's a huge sell-off. It's really, people are expecting buy the rumors, sell the news to happen eventually today, but it started yesterday on after hours when Elon Musk tweeted that specific tweets. So that is a really bad thing to see. It's one of the important things that we can learn from this Tesla experience, is that when you're speculating specifically on short-term trades in and out, like technology, like company announcing to new technology, FDA approvals, and merger dates and things like that, you need to be super careful and manage your position sizing. You don't want to be using all of your account size in one position, and when things does not go as planned, it really can affect you to the negative side, to the downside. You can eventually blow up your account if you oversize and expose yourself to a lot of risk. But for people that are holding for the long term, even though the stock price is actually down 6.87% in the after hours, and even the regular session is down 5.6%, they're happy with some of the technologies that Elon Musk presented. They see huge growth potential for the future, so they're happy about that. So that is one of the things that's the difference between being a short-term trader and long-term trader. Even if the stock price goes down, since they're in it for the long term, they're happy about the technology, not the short-term fluctuation of the stock. So that is the main difference. And also, if you're somebody that wants to buy into Tesla for the long term, this is a great opportunity to buy the dip. So right now it's currently trading at $495. As I mentioned, tomorrow is probably going to open like way below the $400 mark, which is really good. We have a support at $330. We'll see if the price can eventually go to that price point. I don't believe that's going to happen, but if you're somebody that wants to buy in the stock, this is a great time to buy the dip and eventually hold it. If you missed on the Tesla train, if you haven't invested in Tesla, definitely for the future. This company has a lot of potential for the future, so definitely pay attention to Tesla stock moving forward. So now let's talk about the other company that a lot of people were watching. Of course, that is going to be Workhorse Stock. So we've been talking about this Workhorse Stock even initially when it was trading way below $16, $15 when it's getting closer to the support line over here. It finally broke out. It doubled from $15 to $30. Now it's having a pullback to the downside. So what makes this company different from other companies is that they have their own catalyst coming up pretty soon. So that's kind of similar to Tesla stock, but this one is also going to be announcing some important contracts that can potentially affect the stock price significantly. So that is one of the speculative positions that we are going to be talking about. And if you're somebody that wants to buy in it right now, it's definitely pulling back to the downside. It's giving you a solid opportunity to get involved in it right now. It's down 11.9% in after hours. It's also down 3.1% in the downside. So it's a solid buy right now because we're expecting some solid news to come out in the future that can potentially make this stock spike up to the upside, and you can definitely use the risk area right around like $24 over here. And if it goes way below to $22, $21, that is going to be your risk area. So also, as I mentioned on what happened to Tesla stock, since if you want to be a short-term trader, just trading the news, not being long-term invested in these companies, definitely managing your size, managing your risk is going to be the only thing that you're going to be in control of. And that is what you need to manage, because you're 100% control of that. You can manage your positions instead of the company coming out and saying that we didn't get the contract, or investors reacting negatively to some of the presentations or some of the anticipation moves that the company can have for the future. So that's why you need to be careful, manage your position effectively. So if you want to get involved with Workhorse Stock, at the same time, just for speculating purposes only, manage your position size and definitely buy the dip right now if you see potential growth for the next few weeks, for the next few months, because they have the USPS contracts and the company has potential to spike up and eventually break out of the $30 area. So that's going to be the different investors. We talk about the short-term investors and the long-term investors. Long-term investors, they really don't care about the short-term fluctuation of price, So now let's talk about HYLIION Stock. HYLIION Stock, of course, they have also their merger coming up pretty soon. They're going to have the shareholders, the Towards Acquisition, is going to have the meeting in September 29, and they're going to be voting if they're going to proceed with the merger or not. And after that, we're going to see exactly when is going to be the date for the merger. They might announce it. They might do the merger right after that. But we still have to wait. And if you also want to speculate in this company, as I mentioned, manage your position size. But this company is also a solid buy right now because we have a positive catalyst that's going to potentially affect the stock price. Is definitely holding above the $40 area right around over here, and we can expect this stock to eventually stay above that price point and eventually break out of the upside. The high that it made was around $60, like $58, $59. And when the merger day comes, and when they announce it, if they merger, and it can definitely break out of the $60 area. So that is the first potential profit target. The risk area that we can use is going to be a little bit like $40. So if you're somebody that's still not going to get involved in HYLIION Stock, you can use these price point levels to get involved in it, manage your positions as well, and expect that things can definitely go south if they say they're not going to be merging or they postpone and things like that. That's what you need to be understanding, is there's always a risk. The only thing you can control, as I mentioned for the third time, I'm going to repeat myself, is going to be manage your position size, manage your risk. That is the only thing you control of. You're not in control of what the companies are going to come out, or the CEOs might come out and tweet something that can potentially crash this stock, just like what Elon Musk did to the Tesla hype train. He basically ruined it for everybody, even though he didn't meant to ruin it. But of course, that can potentially happen for the stock price, even for HYLIION Stock. So be super careful, manage your position size. But we still see a huge potential for this company moving forward. So we have also Diamond Peak Holdings. This company's been moving pretty well. It broke out right around over here around the $20 area and just non-stop been trending to the upside. It hit $31 now today. It's pulling back just like Workhorse Stock, 10.29% to the downside. There's also have a merger coming up pretty soon. The same thing happens to this company too. If you're speculating it, of course, any dip is going to be a solid buying opportunity for a potential spike that can happen once the merger occurs. But as I said, we definitely need to manage our position size also with this specific trade if you want to get involved in it. If you are somebody that believes in the company for the long term, it really does not affect you if you buy it right now and hold it for the next 2-3 years. The stock is definitely going to fluctuate, go up and down, but you're in it for the long term, so you don't have to worry. It's for folks that are involved in it for the short term that can get hurt pretty bad. So definitely pay attention to what you be doing, what your position size is. But right now they're giving us 10-11% drops to the downside, so that is a solid buy the dip opportunity because we expect huge moves coming pretty soon in the near term. We also have LCA Holdings. It's selling down a little bit to the downside. It went below the price point that it broke out, which is around $17. Their merger is coming pretty soon around end of September, which is going to be in few weeks, like next week basically, or October. We can definitely see if they can come out and say it specifically, tell us exactly when it's going to be the merger date, and the stock could potentially blow up. But in the short term right now, it's selling out to the downside. Seems like yesterday the overall market was selling out to the downside, and these companies are holding solid. But today, as you can see over here, the overall market was actually positive. It's been trending to the end. They kind of caught up, all these merger stock, all the stock that's been spiking up to the upside by themselves because they own catalyst. They finally caught up to what the overall trend of the stock market is. So as you can see today, but we have Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, all of them perform very well. That helped the stock market to spike up significantly, specifically right before the market closed, around 30 minutes before the market closed, the stock market started to rally higher. That is great to see. Now we're getting closer to the 10% correction area that we broke down below for the past few weeks. But as you can see, Facebook, Google, Amazon, these are the main companies that have been leading the way to the upside. Even though we had negative news coming out from Europe, England saying that they're going to be locked down, they're going to be locking down, restaurants and some of the major tourist areas that people are going to be gathering, the bars right around in those spots, they're going to be locking them up because the COVID-19 cases are rising. However, they're not closing, the schools, and they're not closing the colleges. They're just closing up the people where areas where people are going to be congested in one specific area, like restaurants and bars. They're going to be closing it. That's the shutdown. So we'll potentially see what's going to happen if other countries going to start coming up and saying that they're going to be implementing more lockdowns. That is not going to be good for the overall stock market, specifically for the US and for companies like the airlines. Some sectors are in the airlines, the hotels, the casinos. That might get pretty bad if that thing starts to happen. So definitely pay attention to those news developing as we edge closer to we're getting closer to winter. We also have elections coming up pretty soon. That's why we need to pay attention to all these market volatility spikes, increases because of these major news events happening right now. We also have major economic reports for tomorrow. So for Wednesday, September 23rd, we got at 9 a.m. we got Cleveland Fed president's going to be speaking. 9:45 a.m. we got the manufacturing PMI that's going to be for the month of September. The previous month was 53.1. Also at 9:45 you got the market service PMI. It's going to be for the month of September. The previous was 55. Also at 10 a.m. we got the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell testifying on coronavirus. At 11 a.m. we got the Chicago Fed President Charles Evans speaks. At 12 noon we got Boston Fed President Eric also speaks. At 1 p.m. we got Atlanta Fed President Raphael speaks. Also at 2 p.m. we got the Fed Vice President Radal Quarles speaks. So all of these Fed presidents are going to be out there talking, but they're highly recommending that they need more stimulus to be implemented for the U.S. so for the economy to recover. So we'll see what they're going to be doing in the future, in the near term, guys. So that's going to be for this video. If you have any questions, any comments, make sure you drop in the comment section below. If you want to sign up for Webull or join the Discord chat, or if you want to support the channel, Patreon, links available in the description box below. Make sure you have a solid plan before you get involved in any of these companies, guys. Have a plan, have a solid plan. Let's get it for tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.